What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and for today I wanted to share some gameplay with you guys using Cable. I've been getting a couple requests from you guys about using him in Extreme AB, so that's what we're going to do for this one. My Cable as of right now is still incomplete, but with this current build and with the way that I play him, I'm actually able to get 980k points with him consistently every single week on the no restriction day. And for blast day, I believe I'm getting around 890 to about 930. So for those two big days, I'm getting a respectable score, but I honestly feel like this build for my Cable is able to score, I would say, 1.2, maybe even 1.3 million points if you have the skill to play him. But keep in mind, guys, when it comes to skill, I have 0. I am the legendary scrub lord, guys. So when it comes to my Cable, the rotation that you're gonna see me use, actually, let's start with a team. There's two teams that you should be using for Cable. On no restriction day, you should be using this team right here. This is the best possible team for your Cable. Well, if you have Valkyrie at tier 2, you could ideally sub out She-Hulk for Valkyrie and you may pull a higher score. So keep that in mind. If you have a tier 2 Valkyrie, you can keep this exact same team. So Coulson as the support, his tier 2 passive obviously is why you're keeping him here, and then you would put Cable as the lead and Valkyrie in as the support again, and that could give you a higher score if you play him exactly the same way. Okay, so keep that in mind. But for me, since I don't have a tier 2 Valkyrie, She-Hulk is the best possible option for no restriction day. Your leadership is obviously amazing, and the Frost Beast is a male type. Okay, so keep that in mind. The Frost Beast is a male, even though there's no way for us to check. It's been confirmed based on years of testing that the freaking Frost Beast is considered a male. Okay, so that's why we're using She-Hulk here, because this actually is better than having Ancient One's lead. So when it comes to blast day, you're using Ancient One. You're using Ancient One, and if you can have a tier 2 Ancient One, that's going to be even better, because that's going to give you a little bit of ignore dodge. Definitely helps. Okay, definitely helps, because the Frost Beast does have some dodge, and you want to make sure you don't have a bunch of your attacks missing. So these are the two best teams that you should be using for those particular days if you're using your Cable, which you should be using Cable because he's the best character for both. If you don't have tier 2 Anti-Man, who is OP as shit, somehow a tier 1 character is better than freaking Cable. Don't understand how, but in the comics it makes sense that Anti-Man should be stronger than him, but we're not going by comics here because nothing in this freaking game is based off the comics at this point. There's so many strong characters in the comics that are completely garbage in this game. Anyways, don't want to get sidetracked. When it comes to a skill rotation for Cable, which is where a lot of people struggle, and for my first 3 weeks of having Cable and using him in Extreme AB, I struggled mightily, because even though Cable is one of the highest DPSing characters in the game, which makes him one of the strongest characters in the game, he is a glass cannon. He's a very big cannon, but he's a glass cannon nonetheless. So if you don't prioritize his iframes and skill cancel efficiently, you will find that he will die very, very easy. Which means that even though Cable is one of the most powerful characters in the game, he's not a PvP character. I've seen people use him in PvP, and I can honestly say I've never run into a Cable that I couldn't kill in like 5 seconds of using one of my other characters. So keep that in mind. You don't want to ever gear Cable towards PvP because he's not going to shine there. He's a PvE monster, so that's where you should prioritize using him. Max out his DPS as much as possible, and he will kill anything in like 5 seconds. Anyways, as for the skill rotation, this is where people struggle, and this is where I struggled as well. When the fight starts for ABX, we're speaking in terms of ABX here. When the fight starts, I immediately switch out either my Ancient One or my She-Hulk, and you will see me run off to the right side. I just tend to favor my right side. You could run left or right, doesn't matter. But for me, maybe it's because I'm right-handed, I just instinctively move off to the right. And I'm trying to stay away from the Frost Beast, mainly because the Frost Beast is going to try to jump you, and when you get jumped, you're going to be guard broken, and that's going to slow you down and cost you a few precious seconds at the start of the fight. So I run off to the side and try to evade the first jump from the Frost Beast. Then after that, as soon as my skills get highlighted, that means they can be used, you're going to see me use the 4 skill, and it's going to be 4 long pause. And immediately as Cable is about to exit the iframe on the 4 skill, you're gonna see me hit the 3 skill and then immediately hit the 2 skill. So it's gonna be 4 long pause, then 3 2. Okay, 3 and 2, you want to cancel immediately. You're putting up the 3 skill to protect you so that you can use the 2 skill, because keep in mind, Cable is a glass cannon. He cannot take very many hits. So always, whenever you're out of the iframe, you want to make sure the guard is up and then use the 2. Some people will hold a few seconds here to get the heal, but for me, I'd rather not waste any time because I want my attack proc to land on the 5 skill. Okay, so you're gonna see me 4 long pause, 3 2, and then into 5. Right here, the attack proc should trigger, and as soon as you see you have 1 second left on the invincibility, you should always be watching the top left, or you can count the seconds in your head or out loud, doesn't matter. But once you see that you have 1 second remaining, you're going to immediately hit the 1 skill, because this has an iframe that will maneuver you around the Frost Beast, and then after that, the 4 should ideally be coming off cooldown if it's not already off cooldown. Granted, you have max skill cooldown. That is a priority if you want to be efficient with your Cable, right? So this is what the rotation is going to look like. You're going to go 4 long pause, 3 2, immediately cancel the 3 into the 2, then immediately cancel the 2 into the 5, and as soon as there's a second left on your invincibility, you're going to go into the 1 skill. Let the 1 skill play out, then immediately go into the 4 3 2 5 once again. That is the full rotation. Sometimes based on the positioning of the Frost Beast, like if he goes towards a corner, you can't maneuver around him, and that kind of messes you up, and sometimes he'll hit you or you will get hit by a meteor because you cannot move around. So that is very annoying, and in some cases that's going to affect your score. But if you can consistently keep the Frost Beast in the center of the map, you will get a freaking amazing score using your Cable if you're using this rotation efficiently. But I am the Scrub Lord, so you're gonna see in all my runs I mess up. So that's the rotation for my Cable. That's the rotation I use. I'm not telling you this is the best rotation. I'm telling you this is the rotation that I use, and with this build I'm getting very, very close to 1 million. However, some of you more skilled players using a build weaker than this, or maybe the same as this, get, I would say, 1.2, 1.3 million. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the details from my Cable, and then we can jump into some gameplay. So as you guys can see from the details, he's far from being completed, guys. Far from being completed, but he's consistently getting me 950 to 980 plus points in Extreme AB for the no restriction day. As you guys can see, 118 for attack speed, 54% for crit rate. Keep in mind, you get an additional 20% crit rate whenever you activate the 2 skill. So all you ever need right here is about 55%. And as you guys can see, 191 for crit damage, 42% for ignore defense, and 50% for reduced cooldown duration. Reduced cooldown duration is a priority. You should max out your skill cooldown. That way you can smoothly transition between skills without taking too much damage. Okay, guys, keep that in mind. As for the gears, everything's at 20, and the first slot right here, we have 2 energy attack, 2 crit damage. It's not completed, especially for how much I love my Cable. This is gonna look completely different in a few weeks. As you guys can see right here, this one only has 2 energy attack that's amplified. The other 2 are being left like this for now because in a couple weeks I'm going to change up my cards, and I didn't want to give him more crit damage than he actually needs because some of the cards that I'm putting on have crit damage on them. So that's why I left these slot right here empty. The same thing for the other slot right here, only 2 energy attack, and this one as well, only 2 energy attack. So as you guys can see, this build is incomplete, but he's still getting close to 1 million. And the only reason why I'm not getting the 1 million is because I suck. Okay, skills are all at 6. We already discussed the rotation extensively, so hopefully that helped you guys. Sorry if I'm repeating myself over and over, but this is where I actually see a lot of people mess up with the rotation. I've seen people with far superior builds to me getting significantly less in ABX with cable. Some of you guys are getting like 500k points when I'm getting 900, and you have him completely decked out and have better cards than me. I'll show you guys my cards in a second. And as you guys can see, Power Fang Hook, Fully Awakened. This or Overdrive is what you want to go for your cable. I went with Power Fang Hook simply because I got it before Overdrive, and because cable doesn't get any attack speed natively, and the attack speed does help. Okay, and as you guys can see right here, this isn't the best CTPF energy because the ignore dodge is a little bit low, but it has 37% crit damage, and it has the chain hit and a 200% damage proc. I don't see myself changing this unless I don't see myself changing this for a very long time unless I get a better one and I just swap this one off because it has more ignore dodge. So I'll show you guys my cards for any of you guys who haven't seen them before, because they're the same as last time, guys. No premium cards in here. So if I'm doing almost 1,000,000 points with these cards, okay, these effects, some of you guys who have 5 premium cards and more skill than me and a better build for your cable, you should already be hitting like 1.4 million. Okay, so that is the setup for my cable. So let's go ahead and jump into ABX right now and kill it with my cable, boys. Ouch. Proc is a little bit behind. That one was better. Ouch. Your boy is scrubbing hard right now, taking all them hits. Ouch. Ooh. Yeah, the proc is all messed up in this run. Not gonna hit 1,000,000 in this one, but we'll see how far I can get it. Also, the position of cable is actually off too because I can't move around the beast as much as I would like to. Sloppy run, very, very sloppy run. Ooh. Yeah, it's very unfortunate, guys. We messed up quite a bit in this one, but your boy managed to put up 986 with my scrubby build. So yeah, You guys with this build could easily get, I would say, 1.2, 1.3 million points with cable, but your boy's a scrub, so this is all I can manage. This right here is about what I get with him on average because I mess up quite often, so the million still eludes me. But I feel like once I change my cards and finish up his build a little bit, I'll consistently be able to break 1 million points very, very easy. But as you guys can see, as of right now, the million still eludes me, guys. Very, very sad about that. But it is what it is, man. Scrub Lord, once again, here making it look more difficult than it actually is. That's it for this one, guys. Like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace and love.